Okay, boys, we're officially live. We're live streaming. If we get any comments, I don't think anybody's going to fight us. Are we ready to rock? Episode number 5.
When did we go live?
We just went live.
Okay, good.
And by the grace of God, so we're on Facebook. We're also on Twitch. We're on YouTube. And with a combination like that, we still have 0 following. Like maybe 1 follower. Maybe some Filipino guy who's like disassociated because he's got a lack of sleep or something.
Thank you for following 1 from the Philippines.
Exactly. So, gentlemen, we've been doing this for 5 episodes. Cleed, do you want to just hit us with the intro? You want to get some excitement?
This is episode 5, right?
This is episode 5.
All right.
We're a little more excited.
Do the intro.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of HuddleTalk TV. Once again, it's me, Khaled, Mike,
Kamar, Nick. Yeah.
And Nick. We have Sean here, but
Sean's not here. Sean's
actually here, but
I wish he spent as much time.
Sean's not actually here, but he's here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I wish he spent more time. He could have come up with some topics, and he also could have come up with a better excuse. Let's be honest. He was lacking in all departments today.
Lacking.
Mr. Cop Out.
Yeah, Mr. Cop Out. And today, you know what? Let's just talk about it. And running a podcast.
Right.
I know we have some more real topics today. We're trying to get things a little bit more interesting. We've been doing a lot of current events, and I think the reason, like everybody, let's face it, wants to do a podcast now.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of wants to be able to talk to somebody or share their opinion and all that. What do you guys think? We've done 5 episodes. What do you think is the biggest learning experience so far? Why do you think so many of them fail? Because we have had these conversations too about consistency.
That's a good question. I think that's what it is. Consistency.
So even looking at today's example, how easy would it have been for Sean to say, I'm not coming? And then for Kamar to say, maybe I have something else too.
I don't feel like it.
And then does it happen if it's only 3 of us? I think that's why most podcasts fail.
Right.
Because, there's the consistency to it is just, it doesn't have to be a life sentence.
To sum it up, Sean, you're causing a domino effect. All right.
Well, it's the butterfly effect.
Broski.
Consistency, preparation, chemistry, hammering it out. I don't know.
That doesn't start.
You sound like a love doctor over here.
Yeah.
Why does it start with a C?
So come to Dr. Mike. I'm here to find you a relationship.
We're gonna put Kamar on the spot. Kamar, you didn't have anything prepared today.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not to rip on you. So you've been in this podcast for 5 episodes. The whole point of this is to speak our minds and say what we want to talk about.
Tell them.
Do current events not interest you? Do you think that there's other things that you want to talk about? And this is not an attack. I'm just genuinely curious. Why do you think it's so hard to find things to say?
Yeah, why?
It's not. I'm genuinely curious because I'm sure there's 99 other podcasts that are the same way. Like it's our 5th episode. What do we talk about?
Yeah.
No, I think that's definitely something there, right? The consistency, the desire, and I think that kind of changes, right? Like when you initially create a podcast, like what's your real reason for doing it? Is it just for the fun? Is it just to like hang out? Like literally, what's your purpose? Right. And sometimes that changes for people. Yeah. And I think, is it here to pop off? Is it just for fun? Is it something that's going to do on the casual? So you're not really like, there's no consistency in there, right? But I think that changes for people, especially with other commitments and things coming on in their life. So I think that's the battle, right? It's like, okay, well, do you put more attention into the podcast or do you put more attention into like parts of your everyday life and then the podcast kind of like just tapers off?
Just like the way you think.
Just like my mic, just there.
Like, I think it's really easy to look at it and say like, there's a certain mental expectation. And this is what we're going to get into today. So this is why I felt like it was a good segue. And Mike, you can definitely lead us off. But talking about social and mental health, right? Yeah. Even doing this, episode 1, I'm not saying we're not excited, but episode 1, you finish it and you're like, you're on top. We're going to get famous. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. I'm so excited we get to document our thoughts and stories.
Right.
And then maybe one video does well. And then 2nd week or 3rd week.
To the moon.
Nothing
happens. No, it doesn't go.
Happens,
it hasn't, right?
It plays such a mental toll because like we say, we started to just talk and be amongst friends.
Right.
But then after episode 4, there's a certain like, well, it's not working. Maybe we should stop.
Yeah. No, I never had that thought.
Really?
You're alone on that one.
Well, dude, I want to do this every week with or without, but I'm just saying it's always in the back of my mind that like, are we doing something wrong? Do we need to change the format?
Yeah.
And originally we said, we'll just do it. We'll talk about things that we enjoy.
You're excited for that Florida relocation. That's what it is.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But man, the mental health thing is crazy. It's like eventually, and this is, I think with all things, forget podcasting, whatever medium, there's a certain point where something inside you takes over and says, I have to switch up my format, not for me, but for the people watching.
Right, yeah.
And then that's the fastest way to lose interest in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think for the majority of our first 4 episodes, we spent a lot of time trying too hard to please these people we actually don't even know and aren't even viewing really the podcast for the most part yet. And we're not being ourselves. So we're trying to fit this image. And the reason why we started this wasn't so that we could become the next Joe Rogan Experience or some shit. We were doing it so we could get together every weekend. We could hang out. We could have fun.
Right.
We already do that without the cameras, and we already know we're entertaining as hell and we're funny.
Exactly.
But
we enjoy each other's company.
We've been struggling to do it when it comes to the cameras on us. To the same ability, and so like what he's saying. It creeps up in the back of your mind, especially if you're.
It does. It creeps up on you, man.
Whether you've got social or mental things going on, and you're
drained from work.
You start doubting yourself a little bit, right?
What are my priorities?
I was talking about in the group chat earlier this week that I think what we need to start doing, and it doesn't. I'm not saying this so maybe this will get us views or something like that. I think what we need to start doing is something more real to us. What do we enjoy talking about? So if I asked you, Kamar, one thing that a topic, and it doesn't need to be like a current major topic, like Palestine versus Israel or something like that. I'm just talking about what is something that really interests you, and when someone brings up something like this, you're immediately into the conversation.
Yeah,
and you really enjoy talking about that.
Karate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Travel, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
Minus the fact that my system and computer is pretty shit right now, so I can't play that. So in progress.
But isn't it crazy that like, and Mike, I want to get into it too. You said how you're not happy with the first 4 episodes. I think that's so cool to talk about live. Like it's pretty meta, but this is probably the most real conversation we've had.
No, facts. Yeah, I think we were lacking a lot of energy too, man.
We were lacking, and I listen. I'm the profession that I'm in. I'm in sales, so like you can ask me to talk about. You can ask me to talk about paint or grass or gasoline for half an hour, and I'll fill the gap, right?
Right.
But it's and I just like bullshitting at the end of the day. But it's kind of neat that we're having this conversation because we're airing grievances. This is something I'm sure every podcast goes through. Like, what are we talking about? Whose creative direction? You know, why aren't you preparing things? It's insane. People don't realize the amount of work that goes behind. And we're talking about nothing. We're talking about current events. I still think that's an awesome formula, but it's interesting to see how. We've known each other for almost 10 years, but we all have separate interests. Like for a group of guys, literally, like we were outside playing basketball. Right. Khalid, I will never watch a basketball game in my life unless I'm sitting with you and you have it on.
Yeah, exactly. I know that.
But we're buddies.
But I know.
We don't listen to the same music at all.
Nope.
Neither of us know karate, and we clown on this guy at all. But that's his thing, and we all have our things outside of work, and it's just crazy to me that
we mesh like that. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
So, anyways, it's interesting just as it takes its course. But Mike, I want to ask you, what do you think looking back over the episodes? I don't want to necessarily hear you say I cringe. I want you to get deeper. When you're watching back the content,
cringe is
It's an umbrella emotion.
Cringe is an easy way to be like, okay, I just don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike? What weren't you happy about with the first few episodes, and why do you think you felt that way?
He didn't get enough FaceTime.
No, not at all. If I had to boil it down to one thing, I would say that you can see on all of our faces that when a topic comes up, and obviously Nick is starting 90% of them.
Moderating it.
Moderating. At least 3 out of the other 4 of us are kind of staring into space, or we don't even know what's coming because we haven't prepared at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the topics are about things that maybe you know a little bit about, but it doesn't
Very
even
surface level, right?
it's surface level knowledge on the situation,
Right.
And we really either it doesn't interest us that much, or we just don't know enough about it to be talking. And at the end of the day, someone has to respond. So myself or you or Kamar or Sean responds, and it dies off real quick, and then Nick picks back up the conversation onto something else to keep it going. Like he said, you know, he can talk about gas for 30 minutes or whatever. He can do that, but what I've been seeing as a problem is myself, you guys.
Yeah, busy staring.
But when I said cringe, I don't think that's a cop out. Like, I was actually cringing watching a lot of the little
I don't
clips.
think it was that bad though.
No,
I think yeah.
It's more of like, I'm harder on myself than anyone else is going to be. So when I see these clips, I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I think it's literally the worst thing in the world. I just hate it because
it's not entertaining to you. It's like, this is not what I would watch.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think if you asked me where we'd be after episode 1 and where we are in episode 4, I'm really pissed off with episode 4 because I think we should be better, and it's my own fault. And obviously others share responsibility too, but we haven't prepped for things properly, right?
Yeah, it's tough. But you know what's crazy? The way I look at it too on the other end of the spectrum, because I think everything has a pendulum. I think everything comes back eventually into the center and then goes to the extreme.
Right.
And the way that I look at it is right now, the most popular way, I think you're seeing a lot of podcasts like ours kind of start to take off, where it's just friends with lifestyle conversations or current events with no topic. We're not in a niche, right? I think, let's just say, because the biggest one I think off the top of my head is crime. True drama, true stories, true crimes, events, murders, whatever, conspiracies. Eventually, you can get excited about that because they're kind of cool to talk about.
Yeah.
But eventually, you run out of good ones to talk about. And I think that's really interesting as well, because even if your podcast has a direction and you have a niche, eventually you're going to
hit a wall.
You're going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
And it's like the mental battle I can imagine. Like, how many crazy ghost stories are there? Maybe for an hour of content, maybe you have 10, 20 episodes without starting to feel like, how am I going to stretch this one?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you ever have those days where it's like, I should probably exercise, but what am I going to do for an hour? Like the mental thought of like going for a run or something. Yeah. It's like, that's what I imagine a podcast could easily turn into.
Exactly.
So it's like finding a balance between what you're passionate about and
that's another thing, because that's why when we were first starting this off, we were like, listen, we're not just going to, you know, put ourselves in a bubble and make this strictly a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like we can branch out and do other things. That's why when we were coming with the name, we didn't just throw in the podcast in the title so that we'd restrict ourselves moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that was another good thing that we can take out of this, that at least we did not restrict ourselves to just a podcast. And for the viewers that have been watching until now, it may seem like that's the direction of this channel or HuddleTalk TV. It's not. But I think it was more of like a foundation that we were creating, where we wanted to find like a core audience, people that would be able to, that we're going to tap in every week. And from there, we can branch off. Yeah. But at what expense? Because clearly, like what Mike was saying, we don't enjoy, or if we really enjoyed it, we would have been much more prepared. Yeah, coming to
we wouldn't have to nag each other to be on time or have certain subjects.
Exactly.
To be honest though, like, and I think for anybody watching,
because this is not a job, man.
No, like, it's not.
We're not coming to work. Yeah. We can't be just like every week saying, "Oh man, all right, what am I going to prepare today?"
Exactly. You got to be excited. You're thinking about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that effort has to go with no effort. You know, like, it just has to be in you, you know?
But to be real for a second, not to sound cheesy, but I don't know about you guys, but over the past 4 or 5 weeks of doing this, obviously our friendship's always been there, but I have to admit myself too, even like creating this kind of content, I don't know if it's just in my head, but I feel like I've grown or like learned so much more about myself because I've never really watched myself on camera or like, you know, had to think about what interests me or, you know, talking about this stuff. Like, this stuff sometimes gets pretty real and it's almost like therapeutic. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyways, for anybody, I guess we have 2 viewers right now. What's happening, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. For anybody who's thinking about starting your own podcast, like, don't let it turn into something that's so daunting. I know we're only 5 episodes in. This is the 5th, but like, do it with an iPhone. Do it with a microphone.
We're going through a mid-season crisis right now.
Yeah, but it's a good thing because I think it's like the creative explosion of deciding like what trajectory is this going to go on. I think we could still get back on track with goofy articles and things like that, as long as we just have a little bit more prepared. But it's insane to know that it's such an easy way to talk amongst your friends and have a real conversation and, really relate to people. And for those who maybe are thinking about it, like I say, do it. I don't give a shit if you do one episode or 20.
Right.
That one episode, like, let's be honest, how many one-hit wonders are there out there?
And this is a marathon, man. It's not
a sprint.
It's not a sprint at all.
It's about enjoying it, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, as long as we're willing to go the distance and see this thing through, I think eventually, I don't even think we're looking for any type of I would say exposure, but you definitely want the exposure, but we're not doing it for the views. We're not doing it for, anybody else but ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to enjoy this. We thought this would be something where, we'd look forward to on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
We had the intention of making it, twice a week, but
I think we'll get there.
We'll get there eventually, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to, from now on, what we want to do for ourselves is make sure that the effort is there,
Yeah. And I think though too, there's a healthy balance. Like we can absolutely have a serious discussion this week and have I don't want to say no laughter, but like, get into some real topics.
Yeah.
Cause like I have some real ones prepared, but I also think a healthy balance between finding, some of those shock value articles. Like they're fun to laugh at, man.
Of course.
Take a bit of a break from the seriousness.
Exactly.
When you do that, and that's totally fine.
So Mike, this is your floor, buddy. What do you have prepared for us this week?
Well, actually, before I begin into my topic, it can kind of be a segue, I guess. I was going to ask, and I'll ask Kamar first. How much do you think the pandemic has affected you? And I'll give you an example that maybe you can relate to. So in Canada, in Ontario, we've been locked down somewhat for almost
in and out
the majority of 14 months now.
Right. Yeah,
since the pandemic has started. Okay, and a lot of people around the world don't even realize that. I've seen some people from the States who are just realizing. I saw a video where a girl goes out onto the beach and says, "Fuck you, Doug Ford," and she's on the beach. And
in the States or something,
and a guy from the States says, "Wait, you guys aren't allowed on the beach?"
Yeah.
Like he was so shocked.
This beach is closed.
And it's like, welcome to Ontario for the last 14 months.
Right.
Not literally 14 months because, we've had about a month where we open up, a joke open up, and then back to close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, back to what I was going to be asking. How much has the pandemic, which I'm sure for a lot of us, for 14 months, we've been spending a hell of a lot of time indoors, not socializing with anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we're starting a podcast where we're expected to get together once, and we've even talked about twice a week, as well as making
content skits
and skits and get ready. And this is a huge change from what we've been doing the last 14 months, where we've been locked inside. A lot of us working from home, or just going home. Yeah. How difficult is it to flip that switch, and how much has the pandemic changed you socially, or how much you've maybe struggled mentally? And I'll answer this for myself. It's definitely changed me. And someone will say, "Do you want to go out?" And I'll say, "Yeah." And then the day comes, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "I don't want to go out.
Why did I commit to this?
Why did I commit to this?
Why did I commit to this?
The pandemic has completely fucked me up, and it's really, really hard to change and get back to that. So I would ask if that's similar for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely changed me a lot. Probably in so many other ways that I haven't even come to realize yet. But definitely in terms of, my energy levels, my drive to want to do things, it's almost non-existent, right? Like it's still there and you want to do that stuff. But when it comes time to do it, you're like, oh man, you got to go interact. You got to go make this effort to be social.
Yeah, you could cop out, man. Just say,
it's so easy to
not
cop
feeling
out.
Well.
No, it definitely changes you. And I think we haven't even come to realize ways yet. Things aren't even open up yet. We don't even have to really talk. We're just talking we've known each other for a long time now. So this isn't even super difficult, but you still find it draining.
Yeah. After we finish, man, and I put all the equipment away, I save the files. I'm like,
Yeah, that was enough for today.
I'm exhausted.
I've done enough today.
And I love how sometimes it's like the ambitious part too. Yeah, we'll take a break, we'll grab some food, and then all of a sudden it's like we come back, we're like,
see you guys next week.
yeah, I'm going to my bed or the couch or whatever.
Yeah, it's very draining to be this socially active, and this isn't even really socially active, right? We're just talking about
conversation amongst friends, man. Like, we're not making any effort, right? Like there's no pressure, there's no stress.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I have to think of a conversation, you know, because I'm here for another hour, right? At this party or whatever. But Clee, what do you think, man? How's it impacted you, dude?
Man, I definitely have to agree with Kamar, man. Like, man, the social media is just like draining.
And you're a social guy, and
that's
you're hyper socialized, bro, because you used to work at the airport,
bro.
You're used to seeing thousands of people a freaking hour, man.
Exactly, man. And I feel like it's just like at this point, it's definitely changed us like altogether. Like, I'd even go to say like I'd rather be at home all day. Like,
let's be honest.
And the crazy thing is, it's like I don't even like, you know, there's some things like during the pandemic that's been getting us through it, like gaming and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't even enjoy that, to be completely honest. Like, I feel like I hit a wall where it's like, you know, these things do no longer gratify.
I think
it's a very short, like, after an hour, you're really not gratified by it.
Exactly. Like, why am I even doing this? You know? And then it goes, next thing is, okay, you know what? I'm just going to...
Because he's taking L's all day.
That too.
It's a screen fatigue, dude.
It's screen fatigue. Because then you're jumping onto the next thing, which is another screen, which is, okay, I'm going to go through YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to open Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, YouTube's boring, and then you're constantly just looking for the next dopamine hit.
Exactly.
The thing that I laughed at is Josh and Priscilla have some friends that are teachers, right?
Right.
They, let's be honest, as a teacher, if you're teaching grade 5, you are literally never in front of a computer.
Right.
You're always in front of a chalkboard or whiteboard and your students.
Exactly.
So I was laughing because they were saying, oh my God, like it's so draining to be homeschooling these kids in front of a screen all day. And I was just laughing. I'm like, yeah, like I can't imagine not being in front of a computer all day doing my job, sending emails, you know, doing things on the website. Like it's just such a, who would have guessed that fast forward 20 years, you would be literally just tethered to this screen.
Right.
And I'm not complaining because, bro, I've worked construction. I did that through university. I know how much that sucks. I've done physical labor, right?
Right.
But it's insane that like there's never a happy medium, I find, you know, because like some days I'm like, man, I would be okay just getting free exercise, going back outside. Right. But then I remember the days where it's like I would kill to be inside in AC, just doing a job, you know, copy and pasting or just hitting a few keys, right?
Exactly.
Mike, you're a mechanic, bro. So you tell us how that feels.
I would choose what I do over sitting in front of a computer all day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, facts.
But I think everyone's different.
At least it's challenging because like every day it's like a different.
It's like a problem, right?
It's a different problem.
Solving,
you know, it's something different.
It is.
You're not a robot.
It is. I think other people are different, right? Like there's going to be some people that would say the opposite because they're built differently than they're built different. They're built differently than other people. But yeah, as of myself, I'd rather be a bit more active throughout the day. Physically, you're going to be drained, right? Every Friday comes, your feet are sore as hell. You just want to get home and you just want to lie down or sit down.
Yeah.
And you know, you'll get home and you'll be with someone who's been in front of a computer all day and all they want to do is get up and go out.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like
fatigue.
The two of you are totally opposite. Exactly. And it's like, man, like you have no idea. Like I cannot stand anymore. I at least have to sit down for an hour and just rest my feet, rest my legs, whatever, right?
And then the weekend comes around and you've had all these plans, you know, planned out during the week. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna enjoy the weather. I'm gonna do all that. Saturday comes around.
Did you go for the hike? Like, by the way?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Jeez, no, it was a beautiful day.
It was
beautiful.
Amazing.
But you know, Saturday comes around and you're just like, I'd rather just stay home.
Yeah.
Like, and how long could you possibly do that until you know you realize, you know, what am I doing with myself? You know?
Yeah. It's true, man. And you know the worst thing is too. It's like, especially on a Saturday afternoon, it's like your day just melts away sometimes.
Right.
And you feel guilty, but then it's like, oh wait, but my phone's about to die, so I have to go plug it in and sit next to a wall. It's like that thought crosses over very frequently, but then you just keep shoving it. Push it down the line, right? Push it down the line.
Right.
So
what were you gonna say, Kamar?
What was I gonna say?
I don't know. You were about to speak, and then two other people were speaking, and It was just that getting used to
it was just that realization of, I remember when I was like, what Khalid said with just like, what are you doing with yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and I think I've had so many moments with like that throughout the past year.
Yeah.
Being in lockdown where I'm, okay, I'm just sitting in front of a computer. Okay, you know, you want to get outside a little bit more. Like you need to change. And I think that's what's happening, right? We're just in one constant state all the time.
Yeah.
And we need that change in our lives to keep us like excited, to keep us active, keep us focused, because like we can't just sit and focus or do one thing all the time. We need that, you know, we need that change of pace. And sometimes like when you're not getting that for long periods of time, you end up just feeling kind of depressed because you're like, shit, like what am I doing with my life? You know, you're not doing anything, or even if you are doing something, it's so stagnant. You're not experiencing different things.
Yeah. So I was reading a book about how to basically change willpower. And if it's okay, Mike, I want to kind of segue into what I had prepared.
For sure.
So it's called the Triune brain theory. So basically there's 3 major stages of development in the human brain that have gone through evolution, which I think is really interesting. And this is basically what the book talked about, how to overcome, you know, how to get willpower, how to literally hack your brain. And it sounds goofy, like I'm not one of those life hacker guys, but it's crazy to realize your brain is millions and millions of years old, in the sense that crocodiles and reptiles and lizards and all that, you know, they have a very simple brain.
Right.
They have a cerebellum and a brainstem. Literally is responsible for regulating my blood temperature, you know, firing my nerves, moving my arm from here to there, and fight or flight. Do I kill it or do I run away? That's literally the extent that they have. So basically, if you're talking about like an alligator, they have no sense of companionship. And this is true for anything like lizards that are born in an egg. When they hatch, they're on their own.
Right.
You know, they're ready for the world, right? Versus mammals, it's like you're nurtured, you're raised and all that. Yeah. And I think it's interesting when you look at the way a crocodile's brain develops, they have no feelings, right? They basically have no emotion. It's just instinct. They you know, they may have instinct after dealing with humans for millions and millions of years. You should probably stay away from one or stay away from here, but it's not an active thought. Then you have the next level of the brain. I'm pretty sure it's called lymphatic system. And basically that's responsible. That's where a dog's brain, and it builds on it. That's where you have emotion, connection, bonds, right?
Yeah.
So I can trust this guy because he feeds me and there's some kind of relationship.
Yeah.
And then the third evolution is the neocortex. It's basically logic and reasoning and thought. Here's the problem with the way that humans are wired, and specifically why I think so many people are running through all these scenarios and problems right now. When you look at the human brain, for millions and millions of years, we've been in stage 1 and 2. Only within the past like 400 or 500 years, whatever it was, the brain has basically developed this neocortex, thought and reasoning and mathematics and implications and you know, deduction, decision making. Before it was just instinct, right?
Right.
So you basically, every time when we're describing this as social anxiety, it's literally your reptile brain that makes the decision for you, and it's got way more strength in it's so much more responsible for firing chemicals in your body than your reasoning brain, which is insane, right?
Right.
So if you're scared, you're immediately gonna start sweating, your heart rate's gonna go up, even if you tell yourself, wait, this isn't scary, it's just a movie.
Right.
Nothing can hurt me, I'm in my bed, the door is locked, everything's okay. Doesn't matter. Your body is still programmed for millions of years to freak out. And it's just crazy knowing. That's why we like scary movies, right? And it's just insane the same way. It's like this whole fight or flight thing. It's like you're designed to do whatever is more convenient for you and hit the dopamine signals and triggers. That's why cavemen, like, we're not programmed to really go outside, because when you like risk going out of the cave for food, there's that giant possibility you're not coming back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's crazy to know that that's something, and whether it's the decision to go out with your friends and be on the podcast, that's that reptile brain that after like 5 seconds, if you don't make that decision, it takes over, and it pushes the hormones and you know, the dopamine and all those things that will basically make that decision for you.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
That's actually wild.
It's pretty wild the way our brain works. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that was a long rant, but
No. Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. You can't really overrule that biology, even however smart you are. That's why the smartest people in the world are some of the most depressed. Like,
Yeah, man.
physiology, man, you can't beat that stuff.
No, man. No. We're basically in a cage, man. You know, and the only thing we have is
Free
our thoughts.
Ontario.
Like, how long could you be? You know, like that's one thing I guess we can take out of the pandemic. We have a lot of like me time where you can sit back and actually, you know, like actually think about what you got going on in life, the things that you enjoy, planning things, you know. But then, you know, that was at the beginning of the pandemic. Like, how long could you actually be alone with your thoughts?
2 more weeks.
Exactly.
2 more weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just, it gets to a point where you're like, you know what? I need to branch out, just like Kamar said. Like, I need to change a pace.
Yeah.
You know, and once you don't get that, it's like, you know what? Okay, I feel defeated. I'm gonna just stay here, you know. And if people want to call me out and you know, suggest we go somewhere, you know what? I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird times that we're living in, and I guess it's just weird for us because apparently everybody else is enjoying themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think the pandemic has taught you something? Like, have you learned something that you plan on taking with you once the pandemic's over? Has it potentially changed our life?
Yeah.
Like your future? Like,
it changed the world. It's a more digital world now. We don't have to one thing we've learned is people do not have to go into offices to be productive. People do not have to.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, all these like businesses do not need rental spaces to thrive.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you guys don't need that. It's a digital world now. You know, like I guess that's one good thing. Like we're progressing to that, which is.
But did it show you something? Sorry, Kamar. Did it show you something that you didn't like with your life, and so now you plan on changing it?
Oh yeah, the fact that I'm too much of a homebody. Yeah.
Mike, I want to hear you. What's your
Yeah.
thought on that, dude?
No, I'm asking because obviously I have thoughts on that too.
What do you think?
Basically, that my life needs to change once the pandemic's over.
In what way?
I need to figure out what it is I love doing and start doing that more.
But don't you think that's something that you have the time to do now and figure out?
It is, yes.
You know, so why are you waiting until the end of the
Make the
pandemic?
active planning now.
Yeah, make the active planning. Like, if anything, what you do have is time.
I am doing that now.
Right.
So sorry, I should reiterate with what I was saying.
Right.
I'm not waiting until after the pandemic, but
Because God knows. Who knows when Doug Ford is going to free us up?
It's not going to happen overnight, you know. But
Right,
but I'm thinking about it more now.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, you get depressed when the pandemic
I think
started.
depressed is like a big word, bro. I don't know if you can just lightly
but
use
don't.
that.
But you don't have to knock it down like that.
No, but you
I
can
think
get
it's
down
totally
on
fair.
yourself.
No.
Down on yourself. Do you guys think you've reached the level of depression?
Oh, 100%.
Some days,
really? All right.
Yeah.
some days it's hard to balance.
That's your truth, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Can't say anything about it.
100%. Yeah.
Definitely for a period of time with work and stuff was so stressed and you know there was a lot going on.
Right.
Definitely,
I mean, yeah.
Had periods like where I thought I was like very depressed. You
Bro,
know?
I spent-
maybe
I
not
spent-
very, but I was definitely experiencing symptoms of like that borderline depression.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
it
sent the
wasn't
chart.
until I sent a chart that we got from work. So shout out, for like mental awareness.
So how do you guys?
Hold
how
on.
do you
Mike
guys?
wants to say something.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Did we cut you off?
I don't remember.
no,
to be
you cut
honest,
me
but-
off.
I cut you off.
Maybe cut Kamara off, but
Yeah.
no, I don't remember specifically what I was going to say, but essentially I spent like 6 months in this middle periods of the pandemic where I would return home from work and the only thing I have to talk to is my cat.
Yeah.
You know, because I was living solo
Cap.
in my own apartment. You said cap?
Yep.
For what?
Cod.
What?
Cod.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
But it's
Do you
It's-
consider that
talk to-
real?
I don't think
Talk
it's
to
the same
Do you
thing.
consider
I
that
don't think-
real?
I mean, it's better than talking to your cat.
But still,
It-
it's like it's a reality. Once you lock that door behind you,
You're not
everything's
talking.
quiet.
You're not
saying
talking face
physically.
to face. You're not
Right.
physically
Okay.
in conversation
Right.
with anyone.
Right. No, I get it.
And even
Yeah.
then, it's not deep conversations half the time. It's just like shit
No,
talking.
it's.
I mean, you can't really have deep conversations.
Oh, he
with your
killed
cat.
me. Like that's not. It's
Yeah.
not like.
Yeah, it's true. How's your day? How are you feeling? It's nothing. That's
Yeah.
actually gonna get a
The most
quality answer.
The
Call
most
it
important
airstrike.
thing that I've learned and that has become very, very clear, that's just I'm trying to drill into my head, was if you don't make a decision for yourself, somebody else will make that decision for you,
Oh, what do you mean
whether
by
you
that?
like it or not.
What do you mean by that?
So many things. If you don't make a decision for yourself, somebody will make that decision, and you'll have to go with it whether you like it or not. And I'm just not to be anti-mask or anything, but it's just like if you decide that it's not worth it to go and even let's draw back to this, go out and get that and do that podcast with your buddies, or take that stretch at work, or take the opportunity to try something new. Somebody's always going to tell you something that fits their agenda.
Right.
You know, if you don't take those risks and make those active decisions for yourself, somebody's going to make a decision for you, and you're going to just live their show. You're going to be a cast member in their show. And it doesn't have to necessarily relate to any particular thing in your life. It's just like, are you actively there making decisions for yourself in your life, or are you just going with whatever the day brings you?
Right.
And
winging it.
But that's the
I'm
thing.
not even gonna lie, man. That's definitely my day-to-day life.
That's
just
it.
winging
And it's
it.
2 weeks at a time.
Exactly.
You know, I'm just going to stay quiet for another 2 weeks until the lockdown's over. And I think it's not necessarily the lockdown is a bad thing, but I think it's trained us into this mindset that somebody's making decisions for us.
Yeah.
So I'll just stay at the same job, or I'll do the same things, or I'll eat the same thing because it assumes less risk, because probably not a good time.
It's a pandemic.
I know, but
but
it's just crazy that it's just basically trained people to just, I guess I'll let this guy make a decision for me. You know, I think a lot of people are going to have a very tough time once now you can go out and you have the ability. It's like, but somebody's been telling me what to do for a year.
Yeah.
Bro, it seems like nowadays that's what the new generation and even our own generation wants, is they want to be told what to do. And I don't understand, like, that's not the government's job. The government's job is not
weird, man.
To control your life or tell you what to do. You know, they're taking some taxes, they pave the roads, they build infrastructure, they make sure we have deals with international countries.
Yeah.
They do shit like that. They set the law, but they're not, you know, there to tell you what your morals should be, or, you know, what your future should be. But no one wants to make decisions for themselves, and everyone wants to just be told what to do. What do I do next? How should I feel about that thing that happened? That's not you. If someone's telling you how you should feel about something, that's not your feeling.
Right.
Let's be honest.
But they think it is, and okay, that's how I should feel, so that's how I feel.
But let's be honest. Like, imagine, like you said, Mike, you go home from work, you got nobody to talk to. You go on YouTube or Reddit, and immediately I spend maybe 10 seconds looking at the headline for the article or the post, and then I spend 95% in the comments.
Yeah, 100%.
Understanding what other people think.
Yeah,
Same thing with YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm allowing other people to form this opinion instead of me actually going through and reading the article. I'm like, I'll just we're all guilty of it.
I get it.
The most
So you're not
upvoted
reading.
comment. I'll just take that guy's word for it. And then I don't care who you are, you'll be like, yeah, it sounds right.
And did they even read the article themselves?
You don't know.
Right?
Right.
What about when you Google things, you say, how to do this?
You
Reddit.
let him, yeah.
Reddit. Like, that's, I need to go check what my peers have to say
It's crazy
about this,
how much we let things make decisions for us. 'Cause, like, especially the way that this news comes across on Reddit or you know, whatever media you're looking at, Six Buzz, it's like, kind of whatever the narrative that they have, it's just easier because there's 40 different stories in one day that may have happened. Rather than you going through all 40 of them, it takes so much less energy to just agree with the funniest comment.
We have so much information on hand.
Too much.
Even if we
way
just
too much.
even if we just
Way
boil
too
it
much
down to
is
Reddit,
accessible
that's
to us.
exactly what it is. We
Hundreds
don't,
of posts a day of irrelevant shit.
Yeah.
It's so much. We don't have the time to be reading 50 articles a day, but we do have the time to read 50 comments a day.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
crazy.
But one thing,
we're not informing ourselves.
But do you think that's like a replacement for interaction?
No.
yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It is.
If you think about it.
For people,
Is it a good one, though? That's
No, it's not a good
yeah.
one. No, it's not a good one. But the one thing I've been working on lately doing is if we keep this onto Reddit and where I go through the top voted comments or best comments, I usually look for a copied and pasted from the article.
Yeah.
So if I'm not actually
there's
going to
context.
read the article,
Yeah.
I want to see the context first before I see the person's opinion.
Yeah.
So they'll, put 150 words in that's copied and pasted. I'll read it. I'll read the comment, and then I'll go down the replies. And their opinions aren't necessarily forming my opinion, because I've noticed lately I'll read it and I'll say, yeah, that's bullshit. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it. Yeah.
Right. So I know it's not essentially shaping my opinion, but in the past it definitely has. And I can only imagine the amount of people who are easily swindled into believing those sort of things.
Can you imagine, though, like back in the day, getting the newspaper once a week and like that's entertainment aside from the drama that's going on in the neighborhood?
That's not enough information.
That's not enough, but it's just like that's what you used to deal with. Now every 5 minutes, I'm like, what video is doing the best?
Exactly.
What's on Reddit? What's on Facebook?
And just some things that we have no business seeing. Like,
No,
It's
like,
a lot of surface level knowledge.
Yeah,
and
like-
people don't know anything specific about stuff anymore.
What
Right?
about,
We're all
what about
like a
people
jack of all
recording
trades.
other people's deaths and stuff like that? Like when those things go viral and
That's
stuff,
the
it's
thing.
like, why do I need to see this?
So we did an episode where we were talking about that one
So
Uber driver,
desensitized.
and I watched it back. I'm like, what gives us the right? This is these kids. This is their dad.
Yeah.
Why do we have any business talking about this and giving our opinion on it? That's what I was watching back and realizing. I'm like, but it was just normal until you take a step back and you're like, wait.
This is so messed up. We're capitalizing and
Why are we trying to get, not that we were actively like pursuing this, but like people are getting attention off this and making a living off of irrelevant information.
Right.
You know?
I know. It's hard to filter out, you know,
That's so weird
what's
thinking about
bullshit
that.
and what can you consume.
Can you imagine if
what's
that was your
healthy for
family
you?
member
Yeah.
sort of thing?
Yeah,
You know, like,
no, I
it's
actually feel
completely
low
fucked.
key like disgusted with myself. Like now that you mention it, like I
Yeah.
never actually thought about that. And like,
Yeah, man.
The only
Yeah,
reason
I
I
feel
thought
shitty.
I could think about that is because a personal situation with me, and then I saw something, and I was like, what gives them the right? You know, and I was like, oh my God, like, and I took a step back. I'm like, how many other things do I, like on Reddit, do I look at and get myself involved with and build an opinion on? And it's just like, it's gross to think about, right?
It's true. It's true. And just to actually, I wanted to ask this earlier. So now that you guys do realize like that, hey, you know, I'm going through these things during the pandemic. My mental health has been affected. You
Yeah.
know, what were some like ways that you guys were, you know, be able to get out of that slump? You know, like what is like a go-to, or like what brought you joy, or you know, like at least with something different where you could say, you know,
Get out of that loop.
Get out of that.
Get out of the
loop.
loop.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you guys think?
here I'm actually trying to pull up.
Okay, Mike, you go first then.
Family.
Yeah?
Family. I couldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't say I couldn't do it myself, but I wasn't doing it myself. And I was helped by family.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able to start making my way myself after that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you saying? Like your family, like spending time with your family was something that was able to get you through things, or is it just the fact that
My family realizing something was wrong with me.
oh, like they noticed?
Yeah. Well, like when you don't talk to someone for the longest time and they think, oh, something's happening.
Where's this guy been?
Sort of thing.
Oh, right.
They want to check up on you. You don't respond to things that they're checking up on you because it's kind of hate you like that. You know, you get to that
They're
point
there,
where
but you're not there.
there were different points throughout the pandemic where I was at a level where I could get myself out of it a bit, but then I'd go back into that hole.
Right.
And then I got into the worst part of the pandemic, let's say 4 months ago or something like that. I don't know the exact time. But yeah, it was help. So I think everyone needs friends or family.
So you said
At some point.
So families was your number one thing.
Yeah.
Anything else like food, like entertainment, like what other things were, you know, like building blocks that you used, you know, like throughout that, like
Video games, bro. I
games?
spent 75%.
What's your KD?
75.
Yeah, right?
Not good enough for how much
Yeah.
time I spent. I spent 75% of my time. Maybe that's exaggerating. Time at home during the pandemic, playing Warzone,
Yeah.
playing Rocket League, playing Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
2K, FIFA, whatever. Playing mostly Warzone, but all those sorts of games and socializing with new friends you meet online. And Jeff.
Yeah.
people that, mind you probably never meet in real life.
Yeah. Let's be honest though, Warzone's
So
probably
crazy.
like one of the worst things you can do to relax.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it-
because it stresses you out. You know.
I would love to see somebody hooked up to a heart monitor and like get their vitals, see their heart rate, see their sweating, see what's going on in their brain, because like that's got to be one of the worst ways to wind down. No. Yeah, I should try and then you wipe and you're like 5 minutes you're just seeking revenge, and then you get in the lobby where everybody's like half AFK and you get so sweaty, just trying to get a few kills in, right?
Yeah.
Someone I actually played with that I know, won't name the person obviously, but played lots of Warzone for the first like 2, 3, 4 months of the pandemic, and they were having serious anger issues. When I was playing with them, not with me, but sometimes with me, just in general.
At home, like they use it towards like their family stuff.
No. Just like, yelling into the mic, being pissed off, maybe like yelling at me or something for whatever reasons. And then I realized there's something wrong. So I messaged that person and been like, listen, I'm not playing Warzone with you anymore because I don't understand.
It's not a good vibe.
It's not a good vibe.
Yeah. Vibes are
And
off.
then, you know, they got all pissed off. And then a couple of days later, they realized that it actually wasn't good for their health and they need to take a step back. And so they removed Warzone for the time being and looked towards either more healthier things for themselves. So some people, like you were saying, it's really not good. Like a game like Warzone or many games, people are just programmed,
dude, and they're
programmed differently, and certain things trigger them a little more. Like I'll get frustrated if I have a shitty death in Warzone where I'm like, you know, I'll yell, maybe I'll swear, and then it goes away within 2-3 seconds. I'm happy again.
Yeah.
That's me. That's how I'm programmed. But some people can't let that go. Some people mix a lot of alcohol with the situation or whatever. It doesn't get any better. Stuff like that, right?
Mix.
Yeah.
Dude, but it's so easy. Like for me, I'm so competitive, and like I used to be really good, and so what always sits in the back of my mind. I used to play Counter-Strike and I used to play Crossfire. I was actually really good. ESL is an electronic sports league.
Yeah.
I was in the original ESL games, like before esports was a thing. And I remember, when I was like 16 playing these games, and I used to be honestly very, very good.
Phase hiring?
Like, but dude, I know we're joking about it, but then 10 years later, streaming, like you can actually make a legitimate career off it. And
Twitch.
I get so toxic towards myself because every time I look at it and I'm playing these games, like the rank system, you're like, maybe there's a possibility because I know, like, on God, I had that skill level. I used to be in these competitive games, and we would win just small payouts, like not a big deal, like $50, whatever. But I remember thinking, like, man, if I concentrate on this, maybe is there an opportunity? Could this be a thing?
If I put some time and effort into it,
every time I play one of these games, I can't play it casually.
No,
because I'm like,
I gotta lock in.
Maybe this could, you know, and I guarantee you that's going through 90%, especially the young kids. If I spend enough time playing video, it's like sports, you know.
But then you're better than us because you actually put a purpose behind it. Like you could actually say, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and I could actually make this a thing.
No, but it becomes toxic because it's just this convolution of interest. Because it's like I'm doing this to relax, but then it's like I put such this pressure on myself to hit this skill cap that it's just like it's not fun. You know, I'm not a professional esports guy, but like every time I hop on, it's like I have to take it so seriously. And I guarantee you with younger kids too, everybody knows if you're good enough, you could make esports a real thing. Like some people are really chill, but a lot of them, like they get so sweaty and it must be so, like such a mind fuck, right?
Yeah. But imagine growing up on that. Like there's kids that's their only reality where they think that's normal.
I could be good enough to play professional.
Grew up, like riding bikes outside.
Or I'm playing. I play regularly with a 8-year-old boy and his older sister who's like 10 or 11. And their dad. But those two are like better than we could ever be at the game at like 8 and 10. Like bro, they're tiny, and they are like, well, especially the 8-year-old, like you can already tell, like when he grows up, but you can tell that, like, you can tell he's going to be an angry video gamer. Like he takes it very seriously, bro. He'll like yell at me, like, you know, if I don't even screw up, like it won't even be something that's my fault, but it's my fault. And I'll just mute him.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it. I'll unmute you in a couple minutes until you know his dad's like, hey, did you mute this? Did you mute him? And I'll laugh and be like, yeah. Is he done yelling? He'll laugh. He'll be like, yeah. So I'll unmute him. Oh, why did you mute me, Pandemic?
Pandemic Pete.
Pandemic Pete. But no, but it's I can, like, these kids growing up with video games, man, it's different life than us, man. And I don't think it's I really don't think it's good, man. I really don't think it's healthy, but it's the way we're going. It's a train that can't be stopped.
Bro, I told you it's a digital world now.
It's so
everything is about screen time.
The one thing that really upsets me, I don't know why it upsets me so much, sometimes you'll get in the lobby with some of these kids and they're like 2 American kids and they're just saying the N-word and screaming it. That makes me so mad because they're just looking to piss off the random person. Like, obviously, race aside, it's like, why are you going into this to just, like, how miserable are you? And it translates, right? And you know, the one kid who maybe didn't have a good game, like, it's just like it rubs off on people. That's like cyberbullying, man. You could tap out at any time. You can switch a different game. You can mute somebody. But it's just crazy. You know, there's some of these kids, like, point being the anger that they bring into it. Why are you on this? You guys sound so upset. You're not happy playing this game. Just shouting at each other and like you can feel the tension, right? It's like, guys, chill. But
so what about you, Nick? What's your go-to to get out of a slump?
I think the easiest thing is to just, a hard reset is just exercise.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
that's really good for your mental health, man.
And then the messed up thing is, it's like, I think the reason that's so powerful now is because an hour of exercise guarantees an hour away from the screen. How bad is that?
That's crazy.
How bad is that though? That's the truth. It's an hour in your own head, right? That's why I think it's the best thing. Because it's, let's be honest, like I have a bad habit, not like, and not even like I'm on social media a whole lot. I'm just always checking my email. I'm always waiting for the next thing to respond to or answer, or, you know, I'm constantly digging, looking for new things or researching, or what can I do next, or what's going to be the next thing. That's my brain. But those are not active thoughts. Like, again, I'm letting the screen kind of show me what it wants.
Dictate what you're going to think.
What rabbit hole am I going to end in? So when you have an hour, half an hour, whatever it is, just be away from that. It's amazing how quiet your head could really be. Like all day we're in front of noise, whether it's Twitter, like Instagram or TikTok or emails. You don't get a break anymore.
Consuming.
Yeah, there's no downtime, man. So I don't know. That's just me. I found that helpful. How about you guys?
Right. Kumar?
Yeah, no, same. Exercise is a big thing, or even getting outside. I love nature, you know, it's like going on hikes, walks, even just sitting in my backyard for like half an hour. It's like amazing, you know, to me.
Have you heard about the beaches in Florida?
Segue.
We're relocating, by the way, guys.
Maybe by next episode we might be on the beaches in Florida.
HuddleTalk Miami collab.
I was telling my mom about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually.
And what did she say?
I was just telling her it's a conversation going on between us right now.
Yeah.
Whether it be the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever the timeline is.
Yeah.
Just that we're legitimately considering it and talking about it, figuring out all the things we would need to know and get done to actually do a move like that.
Yeah. Well, Mike, like you and I, we've always talked about like moving or living in another country. I know it's kind of been like New Zealand talk for a little bit, but like I think both of us have like opportunities coming up or potentially coming up with like other places. But it's crazy to think about. And even what you said earlier today with, you know, with the pandemic and how it's affected you, you just want like that change, and you've been thinking about like, hey, like what's next for me?
And I don't want the weather to force me to be inside. Like, you know, like what, 8 months out of the year
for 6 months, whatever it is, 6 months you're forced
not even 6
inside.
months, bro. Way more than 6 months.
Yeah.
Bro, we're not in the UK, bro. How long is our winter?
Bro, I would say 7 months, 7, 8 months.
So it's
winter,
like 4 months.
I said
winter. Oh,
yeah.
I'm saying bad weather, bro.
Yeah.
Gloomy.
Right. So
we're talking about sandals and flip-flops and shorts.
Mild,
Yeah,
mild.
that's what I'm saying, bro.
If we're
Sun.
adding mild, okay. So sun. So we get. We'll say
May,
April,
June, July, August.
Well, okay. Let's count out April for whatever reason.
August
May, June, July, August.
June.
It's not even
4.
Yeah, exactly.
4 months.
What? May, June, July, August is beautiful.
May,
bro, it doesn't even get cold. It doesn't even get cold till mid-October. It doesn't get cold till mid-October.
May.
We're halfway through May and we've had one nice day.
Yeah, but
nice days.
but our entire April was
So you have
also
June,
incredible.
July, August.
We just got
bro?
worse.
Yeah. So you know what's
Yeah, but you're talking about being forced to stay inside.
Listen,
10 degrees is not being forced to stay inside.
You're saying, you know, the sun is not helping. It's not enough sun.
Don't get me wrong. I want to get out too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, I'm just calling cap on whatever you said, 8 months. It's not 8 months. That's exaggerating.
Not 8 months of winter.
I think it's relative to where you could be.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you could be, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Bro,
But how many countries in the world? How many countries in the world have 12 months of beauty outside?
Beauty. I'm not talking about beauty. I'm talking about warm weather, hot weather.
So what? Like 10% of the world?
Okay, so let's go there.
No, I know. Okay, yeah.
talking about, bro?
But I know. But it's not like
trying to say,
it's not like we're abnormal in that aspect.
now.
Like there's a lot of countries that share the same.
Listen, man,
difficulties.
my personal goal was always to, you know, like, well, I already lived there, but I lived in Dubai at some point in my life. And I really enjoyed that point in my life. Like, I enjoyed the fact that I could always be in shorts and t-shirt.
It's a big, like, thing.
Just going outside and enjoying the weather all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Like eating outside in patios. Like, you know, just...
It's so liberating, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like, so when you have to deal with winter and then, you know, like...
It's not for everybody.
Gloomy weather, and then that really affects your emotions and your mood.
For sure.
You know? So I'm like, why not? Why not go somewhere
As
like,
Canadians, we step outside, and when it's summer, like let's say yesterday I go on my hike, you step outside, if you're in your car or whatever, you're outside, you get that sun on you, and instantly you're happier.
Feel good.
You're instantly
and you get
feel
that
good,
smell of like cut grass.
You go, oh my god,
this guy knows. This guy
Today's
knows.
gonna be a good day.
Bro,
big flex.
yeah.
Big flex.
Oh my god, your neighbor's mowing the lawn. You're like,
oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So you know what's pretty wild though? When I was researching about this Triune brain theory, the other thing that's very important to understand is when you even just talk about a goal out loud, it's not a good thing. That's why you should always keep it to yourself. Okay. Your brain triggers dopamine release for even you just talking about what you're working on. That's why, honestly, real G's move in silence.
Like
and
lasagna.
It's the truth because like lasagna, Lil Wayne. So when you're setting a goal, keep it to yourself, because the more and more you talk about it, your brain releases this dopamine like you're achieving it, and it makes you less likely.
Oh, very good.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So your brain's a hater.
Your brain's a hater, dude. But it's programmed to work like that. So that's the way that I look at it. And this is why what's really interesting, I'm surprised this is not more of a theory somewhere, but like people are in modern day handcuffs with social media because you get to see the world.
Look at my success.
But I'm saying every time you look and you see somebody in Miami, a part of your brain gets a little bit of a hit. And it versus 20 years ago, seeing it in a magazine, being like, I want to go there, you're probably more likely to uproot and travel. Like, take 20 years ago. Are we any more likely to relocate, even though we have way more opportunity to do that and everything's at our fingertips and you could go anywhere and do anything, work from home? Why are more people not doing it? I think it's because your brain is just tapping in, being like, oh, well, you could go through all the effort and stress of moving to Miami, or you could just kind of watch a couple of Instagram stories a day, or watch a few boat videos on YouTube, and then it just kind of kills the craving. And I think that's really interesting. It's like you see it there, but it's like then all of a sudden it's like there's a lot of work involved in starting a new life. And I think that's the crazy thing. It's more accessible than ever.
Yeah.
But I think
are you willing to get out of your
comfort zone? But we're sleeping in our beds, you know, and you don't want to leave your bed.
Exactly. This is all I know.
And it's getting worse, man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Versus if you wanted to see the world, the only way you're going to see the freaking world is by
getting out
and taking a plane. Right. Now you can watch YouTube video for half an hour about visiting Jamaica or living there. Yeah. And it's like your brain, you've tricked yourself into it. And then it's like, okay, but I guess I'll just, go to bed at 1 a.m. and go back to work tomorrow and we'll figure this out another time. Right.
So, like, if you were put in a position where you had a job opportunity that was in a place completely foreign to your culture and everything that you know and way out of your comfort zone, are you willing to take that risk?
Absolutely. I think right now, Chelsea and I just really don't have any overhead. We don't have any obligations. We're both young. I'd rather take a risk now. And I'm saying this like a pussy because, like, I haven't taken any risk.
In life?
Yeah. Well, in the sense of, like, we graduated school, got a job. Not saying it's a bad thing, but
you're taking the safe route.
It's always on my head that, like, but here's the thing that I always think about. Am I not taking risks, or am I taking what I have for granted? I'm constantly at war with that. Do I not realize how good it is? Is the grass really greener on the other side? I'm always in my head about that.
Right.
Are things actually better than they are? Right? Exactly. And then you get in your own head and it's like, well, I don't have to take a drastic risk by just going halfway across the world. Why don't I take a small decision today? And it's just, I find me personally, I constantly struggle with that.
Yeah, man.
Am I taking the risk?
Very good point.
Could I do it on a smaller step, or do I just not appreciate what I have?
Yeah. Let me do this step by step. That's too drastic, Like,
I personally struggle with that.
Let me move out of Mississauga.
I think you can work towards, I don't think it needs to necessarily be like, if the long-term big goal is moving internationally, or even like you said, moving something where it's a completely different culture, language, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's the major step. If you want to start taking risks and building yourself towards that, you can do that day by day.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be risks, but just changing things up. You can do that at home. You can do that just outside of Mississauga or outside of Peel or whatever.
Well, looks like Nick had a brain blast.
No, I'm gonna let Mike finish because I'm bad at interrupting.
Okay. Well, look at and Kamar can speak on this. What have you been doing over the last year? Almost 2 years. Summer comes around, spring comes around. You're finding a lot of happiness with plants and vegetables.
Yeah.
What?
And you found a new. And I'm not talking about risk taking. I'm just talking about opening yourself up to new things.
Yeah.
Oh,
you became
a gardener?
Yeah, he really enjoys it. And even myself, I've started looking into it. So now this summer, for as long as I'm at home with the parents before I move back out, I'm gonna start doing the same and just learning. It's new things to learn.
Things.
Yeah, it's new things to learn.
Great idea.
You know, for down the road
And it's
or
like
whatever.
just herbs, spices, and stuff like that. But I want to start cooking more because I'm living at home all the time now.
Gross.
So it's like, hey, why not grow some fresh herbs? And honestly, it makes a huge difference. You feel so accomplished, and you're like, like I'm using fresh.
And
like,
your
chef
tastes
Kamar
better.
up in
Tastes
this
way
house.
better.
And you're spending some time outside, man.
Yeah.
That's what
You feel
I got
accomplished.
parsley. I got parsley from Walmart the other day. It tastes like crap. My grandma used to have a garden outside, and I remember I would just rip out fresh parsley. So I have to get this out, and it's very simple, so you guys know. So whatever book you're reading, Tony Robbins, neuroscience, any neuroscientist, anybody who studies the brain, the human brain is always more motivated by fear than pleasure.
That I 100% believe
So
that.
you're always more motivated by fear than pleasure. And as long as I think that's a mantra that people need to understand. You're programmed to avoid pain.
Fear of failure.
So if I told you you could have this cookie, but it would take you half an hour of exercise to get it, you're not really motivated, right? But if I told you that, from the fear aspect or the pain aspect, if you don't exercise for half an hour, you're eating this cookie is going to be terrible for you, and you will get fat, and you will eventually have poor diet and bad health. You won't eat the cookie. And I think that's it's a really bad example, but there's really, really good examples out there. Right. You're far more likely if something scares you to not do it than if something excites you and to want to do it. So it's almost like the reverse psychology. So like, for example, if you want to relocate and move to Florida, you can't say, I like the sun. You got to really hate the winter.
Yeah.
That's how the brain works.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? So you got to hate the winter more than you love the sun.
Definitely.
That's how the brain works. Isn't that crazy?
That's actually wild.
So if you say, I want to live in Dubai, it's not that you like eating, it's not that you like eating outside so much as you hate just being inside all the time.
Right.
Isn't that weird to think about?
Crazy. Yeah.
But it's like the active brain doesn't think that way, but that's how your brain's wired.
Right.
Anyways, I'm done with that. That's pretty crazy to think about. You will do more to avoid pain than you will to gain pleasure. And as long as you apply that in your daily life,
Yeah, if you can
you
apply
can change the way that you wire your
fear, or
Right. And that's like
Your
another
thoughts.
thing too. Like even like when it comes from a religious standpoint, like me being a Muslim, right? You do things out of fear of eventually going to hell, right? That's
it's the biggest motivator.
it's the biggest-
not that you're going to go up, you're going to go down.
It's the beginning.
Isn't that
It's
wild?
the beginning of time.
Exactly.
And it's a far better motivator, right?
So do you think that successful people feel fear failure more than they
Yes.
Yeah,
love
definitely.
success?
I mean, when you
And when you
for
get to that
example,
level, you don't want to go back down, right?
Yeah.
It's
right,
even
they,
harder.
yeah, oh, they absolutely can't, right?
Yeah.
So they fear it, so they keep.
Yeah,
It
right.
makes
So like
me
a
grind
relevant
harder.
example is like, for example, yesterday I was watching Kobe Bryant's Hall of Fame induction, right? And one thing that his wife constantly was speaking about was his fear of failure and proving the people that doubted him wrong. So that
It's more powerful
that
motivator.
motivation there, it stemmed from the fact that I want to prove people wrong. I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
I gotta be great.
Yeah. You have to have a chip on your shoulder.
Exactly.
You have
so
to.
his motivation stemmed more from the fear of failure than being a great.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
You know what?
But you
That
reach the
fe-
same
that
goal.
Fear,
Exactly.
But that fear adds some pressure to you, right? It gives you a
Right.
bit of
It's healthy.
motivation.
Right.
Yeah,
It's-
in
it is
healthy
the
in healthy
motivation, yeah.
doses, right? Obviously, you can go above the
It
extremes.
can get very unhealthy. You
Yeah.
have to be able to balance it for sure.
Yeah, you definitely need to balance it, but having that pressure on your shoulder makes you rise to the occasion because otherwise you're like, oh, like this is easy, or I can get this done, like no problem. There's no drive to do it.
Exactly.
It's true, man.
But
Exactly.
otherwise, you're like, oh shit,
What
if I
you're
don't
the-
do this, this is gonna go wrong, or I'm gonna mess
Exactly.
up, or
Think
this is
about like being the number one player in the nation. You have all this pressure on you where you're supposed to like, okay, I'm coming into the league. I'm being selected by this team,
Yeah.
which is down bad.
Yeah.
Like the culture is horrible, and
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the one light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
To like turn this whole thing around.
Yeah.
So are you banking on your own success, or the fact that your fear of failure?
Yeah. That's a good question. Well, I remember like at the gym when I used to be pretty big into the gym.
Oh man, Nick
I
was
was
a
more
problem.
I was
Let him know, Nick. Let him know. No, this is your time to glow, bro.
No. I'm not like that. But I always remember the bigger motivator for me
We were admiring.
was I want to do one more rep because I'm, just to show everybody that I can,
Right.
And fear that, or lift the heavier weights.
He did.
Because I'm fearful that not really mentally, but I would just convince myself, actively, I'd be like, yeah, I want to do this, 5 pounds heavier than the other guy with proper form. So people don't think I'm a pussy rather than I want to do that because it's good for muscle growth. You always are like your own worst enemy, right? If I don't lift this weight, imagine in your head, if I don't lift this weight, my whole family will die.
Damn it. or simply having a camera in front of you.
Yeah. If I can't lift it, everybody's going to think I'm a giant pussy.
Yeah, a giant pussy.
Versus if I can lift this, I'll look like her. It's not the way that people think. Right. But as soon as you understand that, but it's weird because we'll talk about this actively, but then 10 minutes later, we'll forget.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's very wild.
So you got to hate the winter more than you like the sun.
And I do.
God bless you. You're set. You're set, dude.
Yeah, bro. I really hate it, man. Do you really want to have a winter wardrobe, bro?
No.
Do you want to wear sweaters and
Well, here's the thing.
all the time, bro? Sweaters are comfortable, bro.
As we
But
get
you want to wear it outside all the time?
Yeah.
as we get older,
Jackets, Canada Goose fur.
bro. As we get, it wasn't that long ago that you were fucking putting those on.
It was, yeah,
You were
bro. I
like,
was a major
look
hype
at
beast,
look at my goose, fam.
bro. I was a major hype beast.
Yeah.
But guess
Look at
what?
this fake goose,
The
fam.
older you get, I think this guy said fake. That's week 2, bro. All right, but bro,
what was more fake, your goose or your OVO fit?
man, bro.
We got Khalid at the register.
Okay, I'm getting this half off. But yo, honestly, I used to be a major hype beast. But anyways, I used to be, bro, because I do not invest in material things as I used to, bro.
Yeah,
and that's just a reality, bro. As the older I get,
Got a wife now.
exactly, bro. And not just that,
controls the spending.
no, of course, you have different responsibilities now, but at the end of the day, things do not appeal to you as they used to when you were younger. And you look back at yourself and you're like, why was I spending money on that? Like I was thinking about this the other day because now that we're more conscious of where we put our money and stuff like that. You're more into long-term investments and you want to create wealth for yourself. I was like, yo, you know what? All that money that I was spending on stupid clothes that at the time were the thing, or why didn't I just invest that?
Hindsight, baby.
Hindsight, bro. Why didn't I invest it in Bitcoin? But, it's things like that, bro. And shout out to Nick because this guy actually had Bitcoin and he spent it on a pizza.
Let's be honest. I had Bitcoin.
More or less.
I had Bitcoin back in 2012. It was $7. I remember I was mad because I'm outraged. I'm like, it went from $6 to $8. And anyways, that's in a USB key somewhere. And now
he can't find it. We could be rich
forever.
right now, bro. All of us. We could relocate to
but
Florida.
I'm not worried because I honestly don't. I'm not worried. I think there's still another thing coming. Listen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If I got it right once.
Yeah, you know.
Right?
We'll get it again.
I got it.
You got it.
I was just laughing because the whole time we're having
What's the next big thing, Nick? Tell me.
Pick that up. Pick it up.
You're holding it.
It's pretty big. Still.
It's big AirPods, bro. Yeah. Big AirPods speakers. That's a new trend. That's a new wave.
Watch out, Apple. Here we come.
Watch out. I was just laughing because the whole time we're having this most serious discussion we've ever had, and we have a giant AirPod speaker.
Yeah. We don't even have a pair. Just one.
Come on, hold it up to your ear.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to waste my money. I'm just like...
Yeah, but are you still into crypto?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But let's not talk about that because every 20-year-old, 20 to 30-year-old guy is, let's be honest.
Right.
It's just like...
It's a way out.
I think it's our generation's real estate. I heard somebody else say that, but I think it is.
I do believe so too. Yeah,
that's our generation's real estate, and the implications too. A lot of people don't realize. Like I was telling Mike, get ready on camera. I'll say this: private lotteries are going to be massive.
Private
lotteries.
Okay.
So with blockchain, you'll be able to have proper actual documentation and staking. So lottery pools. You know how everybody's collecting a toonie at work,
right?
Buddy, this is not 1990 anymore.
Right.
You're going to be able to digitally sign up. Somebody's going to be able to buy a ticket, and you could be in a group with 1,000 people.
Wow.
And it will equally split that winning if you win. Watch how insane lotteries start to get.
Bro, I never thought of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I never thought
OLG,
of that.
they're not, I don't care, Ontario, whatever, Canadian lotteries. People are going to start figuring out ways where you can create your own private lotteries, and it's going to be sick. And this has been my goal.
They're going to shut that down so quick.
They can suck it. Ever since I was a high school kid, I was always wanted to run a lottery where every high school kid gives $1 a week.
Yeah.
And that week, you have 900 kids at your school, every week somebody's winning a new Xbox and TV. Imagine as a high school kid, you know, that'd be the dopest thing in the world.
Right.
I'm going to run underground lotteries on God.
And we still could have afforded Little Caesars while doing that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Boys, I don't want to mean to wrap it up, but we got 5 minutes. What other topic do we want to talk about?
Oh, we were talking about myths that, you know.
Buddy, let's just get into this. Okay, let's go. Hit us with some myths.
All right, guys. So I got a few here. Okay. Had them written down.
Mike, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
no, I'm waiting for these myths.
Okay.
Gonna
Okay.
bust them.
So, guys,
Yeah, bust them in.
chameleons
Yep.
change colors to blend in with their surroundings.
Oh, is that like true or false?
true or
Myth?
Yeah,
false?
true or false, man.
That's
This
it.
is a
That's
it's a
it.
myth that.
Chameleon.
Don't catch us on some bullshit here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Is there some
That's-
wordplay involved in this? Because like, I
That's
feel like this
true.
is an automatic true.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll give you time to think.
Wait.
Okay, so it's false. Well, what's the bullshit stipulation on this?
Say it again.
Okay, so chameleons change colors to blend in with their surroundings. This
They're
is
not.
a age-old myth.
Are they changing colors or is it our perception?
Whoa, dude.
Are they like reflecting light at different?
Who's that?
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, I've actually heard this, so I'm going to say false, but I don't remember exactly what it is they're doing. Anyways,
yeah,
false.
I heard
This is a
something
bait-
similar.
This is a bait question.
It's a
Myth.
big question. Why do you think so?
Because you're smiling like that.
How am I smiling? Like what?
Calls the
Bro,
masturbator.
you're smirking too, bro.
Does a chameleon change color? Bruh, I've seen Monsters, Inc. Yes. Yes.
All right,
Randall
okay.
changed color.
Okay, but to blend in with their surroundings
Okay,
is the thing.
see,
This
Tell
man
us
is
why I'm wrong.
baiting questions, man.
Okay, so get back to-
Masturbator over here.
Anyways, chameleons change colors to regulate their temperatures or communicate with other chameleons, not to camouflage themselves.
Didn't know that.
But why?
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was to camouflage. Like, yo, they pull up to the scene. It's green.
Yeah.
I'm green today.
Yeah, that's true.
Guess we were wrong.
Fair. Okay. That's interesting. Here's for
Damn.
the next
So,
one.
yeah.
is it that they feel fair, so they change colors to blend into the surroundings? So they're not actively blending into the surroundings by choice, but because they feel fair, and that's the way they're expressing. Or
No, they do
communicating.
not blend into the surroundings. That's the whole thing.
at all.
They don't. No. They
That's
do it to
I
regulate.
see,
their-
but I've seen
they
lizards
regulate their
on National
temperature.
Geographic.
Is
They
it
blends into the tree bark.
emotions or something?
They regulate their temperatures and to communicate
Yeah,
with other chameleons.
Have they been lying to us? Anyways,
Yeah,
let's
bro,
go on to the next one. We got a
okay.
couple minutes here.
Okay, bats. Are they blind?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Easy no.
Guess what? They actually can see 3 times better than humans.
Okay, but hold on. How does
I'm wearing glasses,
3 times
so maybe
farther?
Is that because the dark?
3 times more color?
They can see in the dark. They can see in the dark. And we
3
can't.
times, yeah.
Bro, every
We can't see in the dark. What are you
every-
talking
Yes, we
about,
can.
bro?
Yes, I can see in the dark.
Yeah, Michael, speak for yourself.
I can see in the dark.
Okay, first of all,
Michael's
I'm
having
sorry.
some struggle at night,
Eat your carrots.
stubbing his toe every
You
night.
cannot see in the pitch black.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You cannot
Yes, you
see in
can.
the pitch
Yes, you
black.
I can see in the pitch black.
Give me 5 seconds, and I bet I can.
You need to
If
like
it's pitch, I think
adjust,
what
of
Mike means if there's
I'm gonna have
absolutely
to
zero
prove you
light.
wrong. I'm
What
gonna
do you
have
mean
to
you have
prove
to
you wrong.
prove you wrong, bro?
I'm
You
gonna
do
have
it
to
every
prove you
night.
wrong. What?
How the hell
That's
do you
not
find
pitch
yourself
black,
to go to
though.
the
That's
west?
not pitch
It's not
black.
pitch
Not pitch
black.
black. It's true.
I said
It's true.
pitch black. Bats can see in
Okay,
pitch black.
what's pitch black though?
Zero light.
Where are you dropping me in and saying, "Yo, you can't see in here"?
How come nobody's ever gone blind on social media for 48 hours?
Why would you want to do that to
What?
yourself?
I want to see what it's like to be a blind person for 48 hours and
No.
vlog it.
48? Can we do
Vlog it.
24? Can we
How?
do 12? Can
Somebody
we
vlog
start
it
small?
for you.
Okay.
Not to be rude, but honestly, like, sensory.
go walk around with a GoPro?
I love the idea of sensory deprivation.
Okay.
I have earplugs on my keychain
What a little freak over here.
Why, bro?
because sometimes the things are just too noisy, and I like to just not hear anything.
Okay, that's different though. But
It's
you're
not different.
But you're
Nick's
blocking
different.
out the noise
Humans-
that's annoying you. You're walking by a construction site, you don't like it.
No.
I'm gonna
Sometimes
plug
I'll
this
just
in.
do it. So
You're
like,
just gonna deprive yourself of hearing.
sometimes
for
at
the
work.
day?
Sometimes at work I'll just do it.
Humans have the
Okay,
worst
that's different though
senses
because
in
you
the
wanna,
animal kingdom.
You want to be in a
Our
quiet
eyes, our
zone
smell,
at the
our
time.
hearing.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it because I want to be deaf today.
But like, I think everybody like once a month should just have to go blind for half an hour just to appreciate what they have.
Okay, next myth.
Bro, I mean, we can do that without like depriving our senses.
I think depriving your
think I'm
senses is
pre-
healthy.
I think I'm pretty happy with being able to see.
I
don't
just
want to go
went
an
through.
hour.
I just went through
without being able
Ramadan,
to see.
and I'm pretty
Trust me.
grateful.
Yeah, I'm already
Trust
grateful,
me.
bro. We just came out of Ramadan, bro.
I know, but the real challenge is doing Ramadan while you're blind. If you want even more blessings,
Even more.
do it with earplugs in the whole
All
time.
right, make this last one worthy, bro. This,
like monks,
is
right?
our last. This is our last myth one.
Okay. So
Yeah, bro, you're wild for thinking you can see in the pitch black. You're dummy. You're stupid dumb.
Okay, no, bro. I wasn't saying.
Read the question.
I was saying pitch black, bro.
What?
You know, when you first said that when you first asked that question, it came up to me as like, okay, can you see in the dark? You know, just how my.
Of course, we can adjust a little bit and see in just a regular dark where there's like, you know, a light off in the distance or it's outside and the window's open, so we can actually, even though it's night, we can still see because there is that light from like the moon and all that, or the lights outside. We can see in the dark.
If you put yourself in a pitch black room, I think I can agree with you. I don't think you can see.
Okay, so
I know you can.
Next one. We got one more. We got one more.
One more. Okay, so you should urinate on someone if they get stung by a jellyfish. What do you guys think?
True, just for the flags.
I always thought that was true, but I'm assuming this is going to be one of the myths.
That's true.
False. Okay. The proper way to treat a jellyfish sting is with hot water. Not only is urine not effective treatment method, but it can even worsen the sting.
Suppose you
had
how? Right. Because I was thinking, you know what? Urine is warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, body temperature for sure.
Right.
It's inside you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty warm inside.
Okay.
That sounds real weird.
We went a whole episode and you had to...
You just go the whole episode and you say, don't call me the sexualizer.
Don't call me the sexualizer.
Inside what?
Yeah.
And have somebody told you that before? Oh, you're
No, from my
Is that somebody?
Somebody's giving you that feedback? Oh, you're warm.
No, that's kind of
Has somebody given you that
homosexual.
feedback?
So cold water?
Okay, go on. Hot water.
No, hot water.
Okay, that's false.
Hot water. Hot water.
So just
hot water.
Yes, hot water.
How
so
hot?
just for future references, you know, if you're just, you know, outside and, you know,
don't
use urine because it makes it worse.
Green tea though, we're safe. Ooh, green tea?
Is it hot?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's like, it's not boiling, but it's warm.
Yo, speaking of boiling, do you take boiling hot showers, Nick? You look like the type.
No, I don't do that.
Why?
You talking like boiling hot, like women take showers?
So women take warmer showers than
women take.
This could be a whole podcast. We can't waste this one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is the next one. Write this down.
We got to invite some females onto the pod.
Guys versus girls. 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Why do girls take such hot showers?
We'll save it. We'll save it. Steam showers.
Yo, hit us with the outro, Khalid.
All right.
I know Mike wants to get through so much more. There's so much more conversation we could have had.
Yeah.
This has been...
I've got a lot of topics. That's why I know.
That's why we got to make it twice a week. Thank you.
Bro, we better all start doing our work then, you know? Takes just as much prep time as it does podcast time.
All right, teacher.
It's true, though. It's
coming here.
I think we're going to have a lot of sound bites from this.
Pretty sure Gandhi said that, bro, so relax.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think about this one? We'll watch this one back, but I feel pretty good about this one because...
This one was fluid.
It was fluid and we were all talking. We were all...
voicing
I don't
opinion.
know.
Voicing our
I
opinions.
got cut off a lot, not going to lie.
Yeah, you did.
You didn't prepare anything.
Yeah.
Episode 5 and he still has allergy issues. That too.
So
he's rubbing his eye, bro.
Okay, no, that's fair. Fine.
Rumor has it he's using the same tissues from episode 1.
That's why there's the problem. Yeah, there you go.
You got cut off a couple times, and I came back to you within a couple minutes saying, "Hey, I'm pretty sure Kamar," because it wasn't me cutting you off all the time. So I'd be like, "I'm pretty sure Kamar had something to say," and you'd be like,
"Bro, he was throwing you the lobs, and you weren't even taking it."
Yeah, you weren't taking the layups.
But he got a couple of them, and I was like, I thought he'd be more appreciative of my understanding.
And the reason too, Brady, if you bring your own conversations, you steer that discussion.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but like if I get asked a question, I'm mid-response, and then somebody interrupts like all the time. Like literally all my answers, somebody cut in and say something.
Who? We interrupted you all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a couple times.
Yeah, legit. I never got through like full thought.
You'll see it see it when we play it back. He'll be sitting there like... He'll be sucking his teeth, be like, "Sheesh."
It's okay, Kamar. I'll try not to cut you off again. My bad.
I gotta say though, the new mixer allowed way more conversation because it automatically mutes voices.
Oh, nice.
Did you hear that? You're gonna hear it back in the playback. There's no distortion. There's no clipping. We weren't talking over each other. So, anyways,
shout out that new mixer.
Shout out the new mixer. Kamar, we're gonna get you hyper involved in the next one. You're gonna lead all the discussions.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to let Sean know to not interrupt you. Too, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, Sean is the 5th member of this podcast, but you know he had to fix his car or something like that.
Exactly.
Somewhere along those lines.
5th member on the 5th episode, not here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. This was
a major milestone.
This was a milestone, and the guy
he missed
copped out.
He missed it. He missed it.
Okay, hit us with the outro.
All right, guys.
Let's do it.
It's been a pleasure, guys, to have you. What? What'd you say? Side chat boy.
Kamar, why you interrupting?
Yeah, we gotta get out of this house.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Anyways, we're wrapping this up. Another episode.
You already know I wrap it up.
Jeez.
Let's go.
Okay, we're playing this safe.
Come on.
And guys, episode 5, we appreciate you guys tapping in once again, man. We're going to be in next week, you know, every Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here, bro. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Shout out to all the viewers.
Yeah. And honestly, too, when we clip this up, let us know. I know nobody's watching till an hour and 18 minutes.
Yeah, we need feedback, man.
We need feedback. Yeah, let us know if it's real enough.
You know, we have to check ourselves today. Yeah. We need our viewers to check us as well.
I love it.
You know?
Alrighty.
All right.
Boys and girls, thanks so much.
Peace
Adios.
Out. Adios, amigos.